I heard there was a naked homeless man walking around Venice Beach right outside today singing. Okay, two things. One of the best voices I've ever heard.
I feel like I was
awesome.
feeling it was going to be that. I was
And-
like, gorgeous voice, right?
the nicest ass I've ever seen on a human man in my life. Like I kept
How
like
many have you seen on a human man?
a bunch. Just
bunch.
Human
yeah,
man.
Yeah,
Human man.
There's plenty of asses, but a human man, like that's
So true.
You talking in the live or in the wild, or we're counting TV television?
I'm talking like
Probably all.
Brad Pitt, Troy. It was like that level of ass. Like,
Wow,
it
where it
was
has like
incredible.
the dimple, like
Yeah.
the
Maybe
Oh,
he's
yeah.
just walking a lot.
Maybe
Maybe that's
yeah.
the key.
skaters have the best ass.
Really.
Do they?
They have the best asses because they're this thing.
Oh.
Mhm.
They have the best butts, and they're all man. Skaters are my kryptonite. It's
Are
fucked
they?
up.
Are
They're
they?
so hot.
I think I'm gonna get into it.
Oh man, I grew up in Southern California, so it was
Oh, yeah,
like
you
yeah,
did.
in Orange County. Oh my
I grew up on
god.
the East Coast, so it was just like lacrosse players.
Oh
Yeah, I was
no,
gonna say lacrosse asses is
Yeah.
renowned.
see, lacrosse
Hockey
players scare me.
they should. They're
I feel like they're gonna. I don't know.
Not
They're not
gonna
as
do it.
sensitive. Like I like skaters because they're like they have good taste in music.
Their
Like
dad
they're-
beats them. They've been through shit.
yeah, I like
I'm also
that.
sort of like I feel like skaters' politics tend to be a little bit tighter because you're like fuck cops.
yeah, it's cool.
Skateboarding is not a crime.
Yeah, they're very like they're very ACAB for cutie. And I love that. I love that about a skater. Well, Ellory, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah,
We have
thank you.
Ellory Smith with us, and she's a fucking amazing comedian. She's hilarious. She reigns in Los Angeles. She is fantastic. She's joining us today, and
Thank you for having me.
yeah, thank you for joining us. And we're gonna snap into some questions pretty soon. I like how I go into a voice whenever I feel like I'm uncomfortable.
I'm watching Good Morning Vietnam.
Yeah, I'm
That's
like,
awesome.
sure, anyway. Yeah, a lot of people say I'm a lot like Robin Williams and that I will probably end my life. But just kidding. Just kidding. All right. Just kidding.
Josh.
Moving on. Ellory, you've selected some
questions.
user-based questions, and we have some pretty good ones. So I'm going to give you the floor for the first one. So, is ghosting a necessary evil in this day and age?
So I think about this a lot as somebody who I ghost people. I've also been ghosted. I feel like it's definitely not polite, but it's also not polite to ignore like signals from somebody. And I feel like if you send 2 text messages unanswered, like that's an answer. So the whole conversation around ghosting, it's sort of like just get over it. You know what I mean?
All right.
Yeah.
Is that that's
That's my official take, is that it's not
Okay.
a nice thing to do and we could all probably do better. But also if it happens to you, move on.
I think that's fair. I agree. I mean, look, no one likes getting ghosted. I gotta, you
But
know.
it's also like, would you rather somebody tell you what they don't like about you?
No, they don't need to do that. Like, I've never had a guy say, I've been ghosted by guys, but I've never had a guy be like, hey, listen, I just didn't feel a connection. But I think women do that more. Like, I've been on dates with a guy. Here's the thing. I feel like if a guy was like really polite to me, spent a lot of money on me, took me on some dates, I feel like he deserves for me to like say so. Like I went on like a few dates with a guy, he took me out to like 2 really nice dinners, and the second date we like kissed, and I was like, I'm not feeling this. And he asked me to hang out a third time, and it was like, hey, I think you're really lovely. I just I don't really see a really strong connection, something like that. I kept it very light, very simple. And I was like, but it was really lovely to get to know you, and I wish you the best. And he was like, oh, thank you so much for the thoughtful response. I wish you the best.
Yeah, I think more of ghosting is something it's like it's a first date thing. Does that make sense? I feel like 2 dates, then you probably owe somebody at least a text message.
Yeah.
But after 1 date, especially for kids who are like 25 and under.
Yeah, that's the thing too. I don't think it matters too much, especially like definitely if you've had a one night stand, I'm like, who cares?
Who cares?
It doesn't matter. You met them at a bar, it does not matter. And they probably just got your number to like be polite. Cause a lot of times if I have like a one night stand and then like the guy's like, oh, let me get your number. I'm like, I'm not going to hear from this guy. And then if I do, I'm like, oh, what? It's like surprise, but I already set myself up for like disappointment. I wouldn't even say that because I don't really care.
No,
you know
just
what I mean?
Set appropriate expectations.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't really. We already did the thing. We met randomly and had sex. That was great for both of us. What an accomplishment! How lovely that was. I don't we don't need to do it again. And if anything, if we do it again, maybe it's gonna suck and it's
Yeah,
gonna
it might not be
tarnish
as
the
good.
first time. Like,
Totally.
you know, I mean, I don't know. But here's the thing, though. I will say that ghosting after you've already established like a pretty like
Yeah, a
intense
connect, yeah.
rapport with somebody.
If you're texting all the time, that's shitty.
If you've like been dating someone for like a month and they ghost you,
That's fucked.
that's fucked up.
And I forget that people do that.
Dude,
To me,
I had that
that's
happen
not
to me.
Ghosting. That's like
Really?
something so much worse.
I had it happen to me and I was like, and it was like super manipulative and crazy. I like went on a date with this guy. It was great. I felt a really strong connection. He did too, blah, blah, blah. You know? And I was like, I did not want to have sex on the first date. And he was like, but why? I mean, we're so, and I was like, okay. And we did, and it was great. Next morning, we like hung out. Then like he was texting me all the time. And then we hung out second time, maybe a few days later, then a third time. I mean, we were talking all the time. We hung out I think we hung out 4 or 5 times. And then we had plans. And then he just literally
Just no word.
no word. And he left me on red. And it was like a question I asked, and I was like, oh, that's weird. And he had never done that before. He was the one that would insinuate all of the communication. And so I was like, huh. And then like a few days later, I'm like, I'm going to do one more text. If he doesn't respond, then obviously I'm not going to do anything. So I sent like one more text referring to something we had chatted about, and then nothing. And I was like, fuck this motherfucker.
I feel like at that point, at least lie. Like,
Or
at
just
least-
say like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm sure he probably got back together with somebody, but it's like
at
just
least say that.
just
Yeah.
say something, or
Say
like
something.
anything. Even also, this might be an unpopular opinion. You can lie to me if it
Yeah.
saves my feelings. Down for you to lie.
Well, I'm also like, if there's clearly there's something that you're having a hard time communicating, otherwise you wouldn't have done that. And so sometimes it might just be easier to lie and be like, hey, I moved back home. And it's like, fucking whatever. You guys are never gonna be.
I've been
in
going
contact.
through something.
Yeah,
Even
well,
that,
like,
I'm like,
sure.
okay, I don't care. But like,
I prefer a definitive white lie that makes me like out of their
Yeah.
life, where I'm like, hey, I moved out of the country.
yeah.
I would fuck it up and lie, like just
Too
go
specific.
too elaborate. Like my niece is sick. I can't. I'm dealing with a lot right now.
My niece has leukemia. She's,
She's gonna
staying at this
die.
medical facility.
And then the
Her
girl's like,
parents are gone. I need to take care of her now.
my uncle's the best leukemia doctor in the world. I can save her.
wow.
Let's just not ever. Just not talk
Just
again.
so you get yourself in a full Curb Your Enthusiasm episode premise.
You're like, no, I don't want to get her hopes up.
Yeah.
Probably better if they don't meet.
So,
You know-
Liam, how do you feel about ghosting on either side?
I honestly think ghosting after a one night stand is a little bit romantic.
Eek.
It's like,
I kind of feel you, dude.
yeah,
Because
it's
you
like,
get to keep the memory.
yeah,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
we
let's not
share-
fuck this up.
Yeah, one night and then let's part ways until we die. Like let's never see each other ever again. All we have is like 4 hours together. That's cool. But yeah, that's fucked after a month of talking or texting. And then just like, I've probably done that. I don't remember, but like, I don't think I have, but yeah, I ghost like on Hinge and stuff.
That
doesn't
doesn't count.
Yeah.
If you have their phone number, no.
Yeah.
Ghosting on dating apps does not count at all. You get disappointed by it. It's all happened to us, but
But
if
I'm also
you're
like, do you even like really like? It's so far removed from being like a real person. Like obviously it is a real person, but it's like playing a game.
it's full. I was just gonna say that it's so gamified, and that person, they might as well just be like an avatar in like the fucking on Wii,
Absolutely.
on Nintendo Wii. It doesn't even matter. They're not even like you're like, oh, whatever. I do feel like dating apps are like, they feel like a weird fuck obituary where it's like this. It just feels like this. All the photos,
Graveyard.
yeah, just it looks like you are dead. And it's just like,
Oh,
especially on
that's so
Raya
funny.
with like
With
the
the
videos.
slideshow.
Well, like it's just like it looks like it's like another turning point, folks stuck in the road, and it's like, damn, this guy is dead. Like it feels dead. It feels like dead energy.
Raya, worst interface. Horrible.
Who's
They
the
have so much money. It's
most
like, why not?
famous guy you've?
It's also not famous people.
That's
It's
what I've
like,
heard.
it's like
Guys, are you kidding?
DJs.
Okay.
Sorry, that's not true.
First of
I've seen
all,
some
I don't
musicians,
wanna-
nothing like
I don't want to
name names.
tell tall tales or anything like that, but
Tell a
I think
regular one.
the viewers should know that little man named Fred Durst slid into my DMs.
No way.
Swear to God, hand on my heart, I have a screenshot. Well, you couldn't do a screenshot, so I have a photo on another phone of the message he sent me. And
he was like, I killed them all.
and I was like, I got a Durst to quench, sir. Let's do this.
That's a big get.
It was a big get, and I was kind of in, but I was like, this is what. That's the funny thing about Raya is that like you get to see what like disgraced '90s celebrities want to fuck you. But Fred Durst, he like kind of is like, he's like doing this thing where he's like gray hair now, and he looks kind of hot. I feel like I don't know. I think he's very self-aware too, like what Limp Bizkit was, and even at the time, what's interesting about Limp Bizkit is that he was like 32 when he became like really famous.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, but he's like, I don't know. I kind of feel like I lost an opportunity. I don't know. So Liam, you have ghosted women before. Have you been ghosted?
Yeah.
How does that feel?
Fine. Like it's not that big of a deal. I feel like because I'm like, oh, okay, I fucking definitely did something. It's usually like on the last date I blacked out and like I'm like makes sense that we're not.
Yeah. See, I've definitely ghosted guys, especially like either if I'm like, well, we hung out once, who gives a shit, or it's a one night stand, who gives a shit. Or I'm like, you fucked up so bad that
you don't even deserve my response.
I don't even want to take more time. I kind of am notorious for I block a lot of guys' numbers.
Oh, I just don't save numbers.
I just block them because I'm afraid if they call me, I'm gonna be like, hello? Fuck! And I'm like, oh God. So like I either block them or I have their names in it so I know not to answer. But sometimes the blocking is just so much easier because you're just like I met this guy one night and like he was like bartending some party and he was such a babe and we just like whatever. He like got off work and then I'm like, oh, I'm going to this other party. You want to come? He's like, sure. So he came to this party with me, total fox, came home with me. We like hooked up. Next morning, we get breakfast. And then he says like some crazy shit just about like he's like just a full misogynist. And I was just like he was like, well, I just think like female comedians like saying, and I'm like, why are you doing this? Like, it's like I just like, you know that they have shows that have all female lineups. Isn't that ridiculous? I mean, I don't think that's really inclusive. And they say they want equality, So, and I'm like, oh, well, equality. I'm sorry, I'm not done talking. And I was like, oh, I'm never. And I was just like, so then I just kind of got silent. He paid for the bill. And then he's like, it was so good to get to know you. And, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you again. I'm like, yeah, sounds good. And then I got in my car and then I blocked his number. And I was like, we're good.
Deserved.
Yeah, because it just doesn't. But yeah, if a guy like fucks up where I'm just like, you're kind of such a douchebag that like, you just don't, I don't want to do anything here. But if they're like a nice guy, even if I went on a date with them and they're like, hey, I'm like, hey, buddy. Like, I just feel like, because I don't want those guys to then turn into assholes. I feel like I'm like carrying the weight of the world on me where I'm like, he's going to be a school shooter if I'm not like, I did have a nice time and I wish you the best. You're going to find a great girl.
Yeah. I mean, I think the thing about ghosting is that there's clearly a right thing to do. And the right thing is to not do it. But it's one of those things where it's not that big of a deal. So it's like, sure, one is more polite and like correct and you should. But like, I think we can all sort of maybe be a little bit gentler around the conversation where it's like, if you get ghosted, it doesn't mean anything. If you ghost somebody, it's not an indictment of your character. It's just,
yeah.
Like, I was once ghosted by a man with a ponytail and that wrecked me.
Wow.
I know.
Well, that's the worst when you lower your standards and then you get rejected. Yeah. Oh my, I've done that where I'm like, this guy's lucky that he saw me naked. And then you're like, what the fuck?
What the hell was that?
I think that happens a lot where they get too big for their britches and that you gotta, oh man, just don't. I have been rejected by guys who own one towel and that is really disheartening.
Dude, you liked a guy with a ponytail? How does that, is that a disappointing revelation?
Man bun? Yeah. Did he have a fucking man bun?
No, he usually wore it down, but he was a professional volleyball player, so he would pull it back.
Oh, well, that's...
Okay, he sounds that hot, actually.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say, like, plays fucking bass. Like that.
Oh, I mean, that's cool in its own way.
Well,
yeah, but if you play bass and have a ponytail, you will get chlamydia from that man.
Yeah.
I mean, everything once.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
I try everything once.
I'd
like, yeah, STDs are like drugs for me. I'm like, I like to experiment, you know?
I just want to see what it's like so I know next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never had one.
I've never had one either.
What?
Yeah.
What are you guys, virgins?
Yeah.
Everyone's gotten chlamydia.
I
think
haven't.
I don't know, but
You would know.
You can be. Oh, I thought it could be symptomless because we had I
But
went to
you get
Emerson college and we had a big chlamydia breakout.
But you get tested.
Yeah, but I think the problem is some people only get tested if they feel something is wrong.
I get tested I would get tested like every 3 months.
Oh, really? I try to get
Yeah.
tested every 6 months, which is about as often as I'm sleeping with a new person.
What? Oh, yeah, me
Sorry.
too.
I've never
tried
been
to-
tested, so I could have
Never
herpes
you,
right now.
no.
It's
I
like
don't
if
know.
you
never
don't
been
test.
tested, you can't have a STD.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
if you don't
perfect.
test for COVID,
You
you don't
don't
have
have-
COVID.
So
That's
true.
the beauty of it. Well, just to wrap up and surmise, ghosting, is it a necessary evil? I think that it kind of is, but be tactful about it. If you also notice that somebody has a deep connection with you, even really likes you, sometimes I feel like it's not necessarily your responsibility, but I just like to let down people easy. It's so easy to just text somebody. It takes 2 minutes to just be like, hey, not working for me, and do it nice. And you don't have to be radically honest with them. Lying to hurt somebody's feelings or lying to not hurt
fine.
somebody's feelings, I think
Yeah.
it's actually polite.
It's okay.
So yeah, I mean, try not to do it. Be sensitive about it, but hey, fuck it, YOLO. All right. Second question. I'm trying to think. Okay, Liam,
hmm
how much porn is too much porn?
there is a line. Like,
How much do you think?
dude, if this is
I feel like some every day is okay.
yeah, some every day, but it depends because I know dudes that will beat off for hours, not even jerk, just watch porn to get ready to come for hours, and I'll ask them about that, and they're like, yeah, I'll warm up on Twitter, and then with weird shit, or they'll use Instagram. There's levels to it, and I'm like, dude, you are fucked.
Yeah.
Just jerk off. Don't make it a 4-hour thing.
Maybe they love edging. It's like a kink thing.
Could be, yeah. Yeah, there's a line. Yeah, if you're watching porn every day, it's probably not the greatest thing for you. But
No, I don't think it's good for you. But that's so true of so many things in our lives, like phone usage, so much stuff. And so I think a little bit of porn every day is fine.
Yeah.
How much porn do you
Am I?
indulge in?
Probably 4 or 5 times a week.
That's-
watching porn.
It's pretty good, man.
But
Pretty healthy.
yeah, I mean, it depends on what you're watching too. Because if you're watching,
Yeah.
I mean, hey, I'm not gonna kink shame anyone, but the more demented shit on the internet,
do
that's gonna take a toll on.
Your tolerance raises, right?
Yeah.
So you have to sort of, especially if you're watching it a lot, you have to sort of seek out bigger and stranger things.
It has a cumulative.
It has a cumulative effect, exactly.
Yeah.
And something I have been thinking a lot about porn because I use Reddit for porn, and so now I'm trying to actually subscribe to porn creators instead.
Do you know Erica Lust?
No,
She's the best.
Okay, I'll look her up.
She's from Barcelona.
Oh, okay, love.
She is an incredible Spanish erotic filmmaker. And
I actually think I do know who you're talking.
it's
about.
fucking
Yeah,
hot.
she runs a website, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, I do think I
Oh
know what
my
you're talking
god.
about.
You just watch hot, sexy, interesting adults that look like they met at a gallery.
I think I saw
Fuck.
one where two people were it was a professional piano player who'd never done porn before, and this guy who just took her on the piano.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's they have just cool, hot, this person's a ceramicist. and they're gonna make
Good with
love
his
to a
hands.
ballerina. And they're just both artists, but they're interested in just exploring the erotic side. And I'm like, let's go. The setup is hot.
Yeah, I feel if you're paying, I'm trying to pay for all the labor I consume. It's something I'm trying to think
Wow,
about.
that's very
So-
conscientious of you.
I'm paying for OnlyFans now. Send me your links.
Wow.
OnlyFans is very interesting. I got talked into buying a girl's OnlyFans one time because she DM'd me something, saying something nice about something I posted, and I was like, oh, thanks, not knowing she was an OnlyFans girl. And then she was like, check out my OnlyFans, here's the link. And I was like, oh, okay. And I clicked on it. It was $5 a month, and I'm like, I don't want to damn her back yo, let me get a free subscription.
Oh my god.
So I bought it, and I was like, yeah, it's
Is it hot?
Yeah,
Are you
yeah.
into it?
It was cool, but like
Cancel after a month, or are you still?
I canceled after a month, but
I
like
feel like that's fine.
it was it like I felt like I was a part of something. Like I was like, this is like a nice.
You were like
instead of-
Steve Wozniak getting in on the ground floor of Apple with Steve Jobs. You were like, I feel like I'm a part of something creating this.
It's nice. It's
It
nice.
does. It's a nicer feeling.
It's a nicer feeling versus like, although my thing is sort of like, I love like the Reddit because they have like porn in 15 seconds, like GIF porn. And it's like, you know.
You can get off to GIF porn?
Yeah, I prefer it actually because I'm like, this talking stuff is.
I fast forward always.
See, but with the GIF, you don't have to fast forward. They're just clipping the best parts.
But the GIF is only like two set. I'm thinking of a boomerang.
No, GIF. Yeah, it's just the in out. No, GIFs can run for like a minute.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's kind of all you need. I feel like porn is so utilitarian for me. Like, I don't even enjoy it. I just have to masturbate to get the demons out, or I'm liable to fucking a guy in cargo shorts. Like, I just can't. I don't even masturbate that often. A lot of times I do it. It's like, I'm like, if I feel somewhat dissatisfied, I'm like, all right, am I hungry? Maybe I need some caffeine. Maybe I need to meditate. I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna masturbate, just get that little head change going on. Cause sometimes like you just hit like a lull. You just gotta do it. Porn, it's not really, I feel like Ellory, you maybe have a different take because you've done your research, but I feel like it's like most of the time it's not meant for women. Like I feel like
I think I agree with that. Yeah.
Dude, I have tried to find, why the fuck is it so hard to find a hot girl fucking a hot guy?
Dude, for
it's
real.
The
why there's
weirdest...
so many ugly men, which is I think why so many straight women watch lesbian porn.
I watch lesbian porn.
Yeah, I'm bi, I date women, but I feel like straight women seek out lesbian porn because the two women are typically always hot.
And they're having a good time.
They're having a good time.
I feel like they're not
Prince of violence.
There's nothing there's nothing nefarious going on. I feel like when two women are like, fucking fingering each other. I'm like, this is cool.
They're both consenting to this.
Good fun.
They're into it. Like, this is probably a good day for work at them. They're looking forward to this scene, because they're like, oh, after this, I got to get banged out by 6 guys and they all got to come on my face afterward. That's a hard day. They're like, oh, me and Michelle are going to use a double-sided dildo. Today's going to be a walk in the park, I feel like if they're having a good time, that's what I like. But it is so hard to find just like normal, just a man fucking a woman. It's like you can find like Marge Simpson gets blasted on by Stevie from Family Guy, and then you're like,
link me.
You can't
link me.
You can't find like, I don't know. I feel like you have to solve a riddle just to find two hot people fucking. It's so difficult. And then also on Pornhub, all the ads are so distracting that I'll be like, okay, like, let's see these. Okay, massage porn. This looks hot. And then it's like, bet you can't come in 5 seconds. You dirty fucking whore. You want to see a woman eat out of a dog bowl that gets socked in the fucking face? And you're like, I'm kind of out of it now. I don't know.
I'm like, I think I do. This is fucked. This is not good.
Yeah, but sometimes I'll just, after I'll come from porn, sometimes I'm like, I stay on to scroll. So I'm like, what are the kids up to? You know what I mean? Like,
I'm kind of like that too.
I also sometimes I'm just curious about the research. So I watch like gangbang porn or just like group sex. I'm like, let's see. I'm like, what does an orgy of 40 people look like? Let's look at this right now, And I'm like, I won't even be masturbating. I just want to see what they're up to, what's going on.
Most dudes start out like when they first watch porn, just watching lesbian porn because you don't want to see a penis. Because then you're
that
gay.
makes a lot of sense.
Like literally, I thought I was only me, and then I was talking to my friends about it. They're like, "Yeah, I didn't watch like heterosexual porn for a long time," and I was like, "Wait, me neither." Because I literally was.
But
just
girl
like,
on girl porn it's still heterosexual porn. Because a lot of I noticed this too from watching lesbian porn. Some of it, I'm like, this is like definitely geared toward women and actual lesbians or people that are bi-curious or anywhere on that spectrum. And then some of the porn with women, I'm like, this is for guys. Where they're like, and I'm like, no woman is.
You can always tell when it's through a male lens, like a heterosexual.
Yes.
Yeah,
and it's just,
And also it's like, I think if somebody is like worried about how much porn they're consuming, I would say try to use like your memory. You masturbate as much, but like try to use like actual memories you have.
Yeah, that's also harder too, because I feel like there's something I don't know. I feel like it's interesting like when like VR porn and stuff like that, because I feel like that's how I view porn, where I'm like,
Through a headset?
I'm that person. That is me. That's me right there. So I can understand. And I think that's why there are like unattractive men in porn, because the guy's like, look at that's me and I'm fucking this hot girl, Like I get it, But yeah, I guess like how much porn is too much porn? If you feel like it is kind of like an Instagram thing where it's like if you feel like you are burning time
Yeah.
and you're like, fuck, I can't I just keep doing this thing. I keep going to it. Then yeah, that's probably too much. But a little bit every day even is
I think
fine.
the general rule of thumb is if it's something you're asking yourself, clearly something is amiss. Like you yourself feel like it might be too much. That's your answer.
Yeah, it also I think sometimes can inform, I don't know, it can ruin actual sexual experiences that you have. And
Absolutely.
that's kind of a bummer, like for you, because it's like, I was saying the other day, just like some guys, they are so used to jerking off that when they fuck a woman or like whatever, or like have oral sex, they can't come unless they actually have their hand on their dick. And I'm like, that's a bummer,
That's a bummer.
for you. That's like, so
Not the way God intended.
no. So yeah, I guess the synopsis is if you're asking the question, maybe investigate why, see, but using your memory is like a nice thing too. And in terms of the porn you're consuming, I feel like kind of everything's on the table. Do whatever the fuck you
do
want.
whatever the fuck.
You know what's odd is like the first few years I was watching porn, like this was before I like lost my virginity or anything. I would not have the sound on, so I never watched porn with the sound on.
Were you afraid of getting caught by your parents?
Yeah,
That why?
I think that was why, and also like I just like
I don't watch porn with the sound.
Me neither.
Yeah.
It's too because they're all sound like
it's so fake. Like it's so
fake.
like,
Yeah.
oh, fuck me, fuck me, and you're like, this is so, because they say, they're like, yeah, and I'm like, no, it's just too much.
But it was like bad though, because then when I started having sex, if the girl made a sound, I was like, oh shit, like just like fully like it was too much like overstimulation. I was like, what's happening? Like,
But that's so hot. Like as a girl, I'm like that's sort of where I want you to be.
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I feel like also I lean into the sounds a lot. I like,
Actually, you're like doing voices.
not lean, I mean, I just like, it feels good, but I definitely like, I don't need to make as much noise as I do, but I do it as a part of the performative sexual.
There's something fun about, I mean, I think it toes a line where you can become too performative, but there's something fun in the performance of sex.
Oh, that's why I love giving blowjobs, because I'm like, I'm gonna give you a show.
Yeah.
it's great, and it's like so. The blowjob is like it's a power move. It's like just sit back. I'm gonna like do this. It's gonna be so hot, and it's like it's like a total like it's a dance. It's a seduction. It's great. I love doing that. I know. I feel like when I'm a chick who's like, I love giving blowjobs, people are like, shut the fuck up. It's like, so like, I love giving blowjobs, and I love being quiet. And
there is like a sort of like type of LA girl that's like a response to veganism where they're like, I actually love meat. I eat so much meat. And you'll see them like shopping for meat. Do you know the
yes,
type?
dude. I know, because the pendulum. Yeah, it's kind of like, I actually like football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're like, come on.
And it's also like everybody likes a bunch of different things. Who gives a shit?
I know.
it's not going to turn a guy on you being like, I like steak. I'm like, that's good. It's steak.
So do
tastes-
millions of other people.
It's like when it's the same like kind of toxicity of like when a woman's like, yeah, I'm just more of a guy's girl. Like I barely have any girlfriends. I'm like, red flag.
flag.
You're sketchy,
Red
dude.
flag.
You are
Red flag.
sketchy.
Yeah. Also, none of your guy friends like you. They don't like you.
They
They're
all want
all-
to fuck you.
When you're not around, they're talking about who's going to be the first one to fuck you. That's what's happening.
Oh my God. That's insight right there.
Yeah, that's a fact. Like
Yikes.
those girls, every time they're like, yeah, I just get along better with guys. It's like, we are hanging out without you most of the time.
Yeah.
Like, and then,
Or
like,
you're inviting yourself
Yeah.
and nobody knows how
Yeah.
to say no.
Oh God. That's I thought I saw this tweet that was like, the big difference between men and women like having like being friend zoned is that when a man friend zones a girl, he still will fuck her. And it is true.
That's
like
so
guys will
funny.
still fuck you if they put you in the friend zone.
Yeah.
But a woman's like, I just don't want to ruin the friendship.
that's the best though, having sex with your friends that are just like
I've had a
your
few
friends.
people-
And it's like,
Sometimes it doesn't work, but sometimes like there's one person I've been having sex with for like 6 years on and off.
Mm.
And like at this point, we've covered sort of every I guess, like phase of the relationship. So we know exactly what we want. We know exactly how to have sex with each other. We know like what sort of communication style we want. And I'm like, that's sort of perfect. But I've also had friends with benefits who like weren't good communicators. And so it's like, now we're just not having good sex and we're not friends.
Yeah, I've actually had it's happened very few times, but I have had situations where like guys, like we are like like it actually usually always starts off like a little romantic. You know, it's like it's usually not like it's my buddy that we've been friends with for years. And all of a sudden it's like, what? Like that. That hasn't happened, but it's like they'll be like, oh, this person is attracted to me. And I'm like, okay. And then we do hook up and then it just kind of becomes more casual and then we become friends. But then we like kind of hook up every now and then. But we are really more friends. And then maybe one of us starts dating somebody and then you're like, cool. Then you're supportive of their relationship. Let's say they break up, then you fuck again. And then,
yeah, that's
you know.
sort of exactly.
Yeah. And it's
nice. To have a landing pad.
It's nice because, and that's the thing, man. Like, guys, you can do this. Just don't be a fucking idiot. Just be communicative. Like, we will fuck you. You don't need to be, you don't need to manipulate us into fucking you. We will fuck you.
I think that's such a succinct and good lesson because it's like so many times, like you'll, especially as a young girl, like you'll go out on a guy who's like, I'm so interested in you. I'm going to take you to dinner and like we're going to have sex and I want you to meet my mom. And then it's like, you didn't need to say any of that stuff.
I literally talked about this. That is the worst where you're like, why are you gaslighting future talk into my life?
Like, literally, we didn't even like. I had dated this guy for like 4 months, and I was coming out of a relationship, and I was like, I don't want to be in a relationship. I'm busy. I'm doing other stuff. And he was like, every chance he's like, well, you're my girlfriend. Like we're dating, and like, and then 4 months later, he's like, I just don't think this is working out. And I was like, motherfucker, like
what? Yeah, just be casual.
I was like, we could have had that relationship the whole time. You were the one who was like
perpetuating it. Yeah. So I have a theory that a lot of people, it's very hard for them to be sexual or romantic unless they have this, they project some sort of future. I think,
interesting.
Yeah. So I think that they fetishize romance. I think that is really where they're coming from. So they say things like, I just never felt this way before. Or like, they'll say things like,
I've never met anybody like you.
I've had guys say that they love me after only dating for a few weeks. And I'm like, no, you don't.
No, you don't.
Even if you feel that way, like you got to practice some like,
just restraint.
Yes.
Keep it in.
That's really wild.
It's wild.
You know, and that makes me, that's such a red flag. And then I'm like, oh, you're unstable.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, no, thanks. We're good. I can't. But yeah, it's the things like, if you're just cool, like, dude, I have regularly fucked guys that are just like good, like cool.
If
and
you are like normal and around, do you know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. Normal and around.
You're normal around.
And you don't like
regular guy.
You don't like do weird shit where you like text and then don't respond. And then like, what are you up? Do you want to hang out tonight? Yeah, sure. Let's do it. And then like go.
Nothing.
And you're like, what? Oh, sorry. Last night my phone died. No, it didn't, dude. Like just fucking be like when they do weird manipulative shit. It's like, you would actually fuck me more. And I would be like more chill about it. And you could actually it's like more of a sustainable friends with bennies if you just were normal.
Yeah.
And then instead they're like, no, we're going to fuck once. And then I'm going to toy with your head for about a year.
Which is how you create like a crazy girl. And now this girl is going to be crazy to you, even though your actions made her act like that. Because you're giving her no information, no insight.
There was this great Onion article headline that was like, sorry I was crazy while you were treating me like shit. It's like, yeah, like oh my God. The weirdest thing is the breadcrumbing thing where like
breadcrumbing. I forgot about that. It's like, go for it.
So it's when let's say you hook up with a girl. You actually don't even need to hook up with a girl. You could just have some sort of romantic rapport, but let's say whatever, you hook up with them and then you just hit them up like every week or 2 weeks, but you never make plans. You just, hey, how are you? Just thinking about you, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you just have this leash on them for like years.
You're keeping somebody in the pocket.
And it's so weird.
I do that. I just call it keeping the stove warm. Like you just stoking the fire a little bit.
But why don't you fuck the stove?
Well, because you want to have options.
Because I'm in LA and the stove is...
that's okay. If the stove is elsewhere, that's different. That's logistical.
Yeah.
That's fine.
That
also establishes the breadcrumbing this is what it is too. It creates false sense of knowing somebody. So what happens is that a woman will be like, well, I know. I mean, we talk all the time, but you've actually only hung out with the guy one time. So then when he sees you, like maybe you haven't seen him in months, you're actually more privy to fuck him because you actually do feel close to him because you've talked to him for so long. So it's actually kind of smart, it's a tactic. It's like a pickup artist tactic. That's, yeah.
No, is that manipulative or?
Yeah, a little
think
bit. But
it's-
I would say that like I do think it is manipulative, specifically from like a pickup artist sort of standpoint. But sometimes you just got to keep a crush a little bit alive, so you have like, and it's not right. But I think we've all it's not right. It's not nice.
It depends. I feel like I had that happen with a guy where it was like we were actually like friends for a bit, and he was like, I just thought we were platonic friends. And I think he was just like dating someone and we were friends for a few years. And then he like came for me like and was like, hey, can I take you out to dinner? And I was like, oh, and I never really thought of him that way. And I was like, actually, I think I would. We weren't super close. So I was like, okay. So then we like went on a few dates and we like fucked. And I actually made him wait to have sex with me. And then and then he just kept making plans and then canceling on me, which is so, and I was like, is he doing this on purpose? Because he would be the one
to initiate
yeah. And then leave me high and dry. And I'm like, and did it multiple times. And then I was like, I can't even call him out because we have so many mutual friends that he'd be like, yeah, she's fucking crazy, dude. Yeah, she's actually whack. So I had to just be like, oh, okay. And then after a while, I'm like, what? He would just talk to me so much. And I was like, do you want to fuck me? Or like, because are we friends? But then it was so weird because then he would be flirty. I was like, okay, maybe he just wants to downshift again just to a friendship. But then he would always be like flirtatious and sexual. And I was like, what is that? I like still don't understand what happened. And it's so, and then, oh man, the guys that like, they watch every move you make on the internet.
And they wait and they reply.
Oh, just not even like, just guys that like, what? Okay, I have a question for you. What the fuck is up with guys that have like rejected you or like given you a soft reject or whatever? Or just like I really guys that just like dated for a little bit and they didn't want to like get serious, which I'm like, it's fine, obviously. But then they just watch all of your stories immediately every day
That's
to
called
the day you
haunting.
die. What is that?
It's called haunting. It's like ghosting, but you're lingering around.
Yeah, no,
Why?
that guy's like obsessed with you for sure. If you,
But why didn't he?
he has a fantasy about like your relationship and where you guys are going to be in like 10 years, and he's just like watching you live your life.
I think
It's
people
weird.
just like to keep
No
tabs on you.
way.
I don't think that he's like projecting a fantasy where you end up together, but it is
That's
something like
what I do. I don't know if it's
you like I'm gonna get married to this girl.
yeah.
We're
I'm
gonna
like,
have a
oh, look at my
family.
But you
mother of my
rejected
children.
her.
Huh?
But you rejected her.
Oh no. Okay, well that's different. Yeah,
I've had multiple. I literally can.
You're like the what if. It's like what could have been.
Yeah.
Like they didn't want you at the time, but I do think that they still they're like still entertaining the option. And I think a lot of them like to think that you are still an option because they rejected you. So they're sort of like
Yes.
just keeping tabs.
But they're not. I'm pissed, and I'm
Yeah.
like, never, bitch.
Never
'Cause my self-esteem isn't that low. So I think I actually don't understand like the like, yeah, he's a bad boy. I'm like, he's an asshole.
It
I
took
like
me
when
a long time to learn that.
oh no,
It
see,
took me a long time
guys
to
have to be like nice to me,
you.
like
Which
very
I think
nice.
is good. But I had such a low self-esteem growing up, and it took me so long. And I just had these boyfriends who would be like actively mean to me to the point where it's like, do you even like women?
No, I could never. I actually, the only like kind of thing I've done like that, which is pretty fucked up, is like having somebody who's like dating someone who's like kind of antisocial or like doesn't like anyone, but they like really like you, and you feel like really special. Where they like hate everyone. They're like a total pessimist, but they like are obsessed with you, and you're like, I'm special, but everyone thinks they're a dick, and I'm like, whatever. That's not great.
Yeah, he might kill you when you leave. That's
Yeah, no, yeah.
like that sounds
That obsession
dangerous.
is a little yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Where are you going tonight, my friends? I hate that.
Yeah.
Let's
hate
watch
everyone.
Dexter.
All right, guys. Well, I think yeah, oh no, we already wrapped up the porn thing. I think we're good. Yeah. Oh, next question. Let's just do that. Okay. Don't worry, this will be edited. I'm like, but the boo.
Hey,
Okay.
I think you're doing a great job.
Oh, thanks. You're doing a great
Life
job.
is all about transition sentences.
Okay. I will answer this next question. How can you tactfully explain a small penis before meeting? Well, I think this might be an unpopular opinion, and I feel like we might have different opinions in the room. Don't say anything.
I totally agree. I totally agree.
Don't say a damn thing. I've had guys say shit where they're like, I remember this guy, and this is actually one of the guys that I would hook up with regularly, and he's a great guy, and we still talk, and he's fantastic. He's a great guy. But we were like out and we were drunk, and we had not slept together yet, and he was just like, I mean, I don't have a big dick, just so you know, but I love eating pussy and I'm pretty good at it. And I was like,
Jesus Christ.
No, I think that's how.
It's just a Hail Mary.
No, but it was like so honest. And I was like, and I definitely was like, no, it's probably not that small. And he was like, he's a big guy. Like he's like 6'4", big guy, small dick. But he was honest about it and he's aware of it. And he was really good at eating box. And like, I don't know. It was actually fine.
I feel like it's a show don't tell situation because it's like the chances that you are correctly assuming that you're about to have sex with someone, I'm not going to guess that, listener rate is the amount of times that men I think they're going to have sex and then don't. It's like, don't ruin anything before it happens. Wait till you're hooking up. Wait till it's hot and heavy. Go down on her. Do a really, really good job. And then you can have the conversation.
No, there's no. I don't think there's any conversation.
Then you like go into it, and she'll notice you have a small dick, but he's taking notes.
But
I think if you like give her really really good head,
yes,
you're sort of like it's not all about that.
You have to be really. If you are not blessed with a giant dick, I am sorry, but there's so much you can do.
There's so much you can do.
Get really into eating ass.
That's how lesbians have been having sex since the dawn of time.
It's fun. Like get toys.
You'll figure it out.
Are there actually girls that don't like getting eaten out? Is that a thing?
I do think it is a thing, but I think unfortunately it stems from sort of like a trauma place or it's
self-conscious, being told that their like smell, vagina smells or it's ugly.
Okay.
And I think that's usually what it comes like. I think that's why usually when women say I don't really like having oral sex, they're usually pretty young. They're usually in their early 20s. I've never met a woman like in her 30s or like plus that isn't into it. And I think now like this generation, I feel like they're like into like I feel like there's so much more body positivity. Yeah. And like
sometimes I'm like, I might wait till a guy and I are like a little bit more serious because I feel like I can't really enjoy it unless I'm like, ooh, I'm so into you. Where it's like if I'm just having like a little sex, I might skip that for me.
Mine's the opposite. Eating my pussy is an audition of fucking.
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
Some people just know what they're doing, and I'm like, I don't want to have to coach.
It's the thought that counts.
Oh,
I just think I like it.
Serve me.
Yeah, I like it as a precursor to sex, but it's like. I think the like sweetest way to show a girl that you're like into her, but also like waiting for her like to be ready to actually have intercourse is by serving her. Is just being like, I just want to eat your pussy. Okay. That's so fucking hot. When a guy is just like, I just want to go down on you, and I'm like, okay. Oh well, okay. Small penis. The thing is, guys. You're out there. We love a small penis. I will say.
I think don't get in your own way.
Don't get in your own way. I have a girlfriend actually who really likes small dicks.
I actually have a friend like that too.
Yeah, she likes a small dick, and it's. I'm not even kidding,
really?
Man. Yeah, this is not urban legend. There's women that are super into it, and I, as somebody who has been with guys who have enormous dicks, average dicks, and tiny dicks, it's fine. Just it's okay. You just have to learn to do other tactics. The big dick guys, though, they're blessed because they don't even have to be good at fucking.
But sometimes I'm like, you do have to still be good at fucking. I feel like I've slept with some guys who have big dicks, and it's so clear that they never like really learned how to fuck. And it's like a lot of stopping and starting. It's like
hot girls. Rhythm. A girl who's way too hot never has to be good at sex. She's like a mattress back. She could be a starfish.
I'm okay with that. I feel like that's fine.
Really? I feel like it's so inactive. Like
it's not. I'm kidding, but
there's like the mattress back because they're so hot that it's like they're coveted all the time that they don't even need.
Princess.
Yeah, they don't need to be good at fucking.
Completely. Just mannequin sex, like don't move, and you're like, eh.
Yeah. See, when I'm in there, I like, I gotta roll up my sleeve. I'm like fucking Bruce Springsteen giving the best show of my life in Jersey to my people. I am out there. I am doing as the best I can.
You're doing every accent you know.
I have. Oh man, I'm a performer at heart. But yeah, I'd say with the penis, just bury the lead. You don't need to say anything because whatever you say, we're going to envision it way worse than it is, or we're going to be like, oh, okay. And like Ellory said, the insinuation that that's even going to go in that direction. And then you sound self-conscious, and really women, what we like the most is confidence.
Yeah,
So,
if you're not worried about it, I'm not worried about it.
yeah, because you can do other things. You know, you'll be fine. Okay.
I've been awful quiet for the tiny penis section of the podcast.
Liam, it doesn't matter.
Have you ever had to explain your penis
No,
to somebody?
no, I don't have a big penis, but it's definitely not like I won't have to explain my dick going into it. Like,
You're like, listen.
Nobody's gonna be shocked.
hey, let me just get down to the brass tacks.
Yeah. Before we get in there, my parents are both clans people.
Yeah.
They took the skin all the way off.
I was in an accident as a boy. There's nothing I could do about this.
Ian's far to the left.
Do you remember in the movie E.T. where he was all white down by the river and all bloated? It kind of looks like that.
Dude, this is one of my best friends. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I saw
Seen it, his dick?
Yeah, his penis.
Just swinging it around.
Yeah,
Good.
we saw it one time hard, and dude, this thing takes just a right hook, like
Wait, where in the shot? Like towards the top or in
towards
the
the
middle?
top.
Okay.
It's insane. Like,
What can you show with your hands?
yeah, it's like I don't like. It's not that long, but like
No, but that's
it's like
real.
that.
You know, it's funny. So is the curve upward or is it just to the side?
It's-
It
If
takes
it's
a right.
upward, that would be a good thing.
Exactly. You get a G spot in there.
But
Yeah.
I think it's more so it's to the left. It's like to
Maybe
the
that's
side.
good though too. You know, I feel like every vagina has a snowflake of a dick that like corresponds to it. And sometimes if you've ever had sex with a guy and your dick and vagina just are
Don't
not
match.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, like like it's just like this is not. My guy friend told me one time that he was like, I fucked this girl and literally like every time, like every pump was like and he's like, I think we just didn't have like corollary parts.
Yeah.
And he's like, and it was like so like he's like, I just couldn't like get out of my head about it. I was like, oh man, yeah, that would be so like sometimes it just doesn't work out.
No, I've had to stop seeing guys where like their dick was just too big for me, and it was like you would be fine, but it's not fun.
Yeah, it's not fun. Or it just doesn't, your parts don't really match up.
Yeah.
And sometimes, oh my God, sometimes you have someone where you're like, wow, at last, my love has come along. I'm like, what? I'm missing my puzzle piece, and it's your penis.
I've never considered the compatibility of a penis to a vagina before. I just figured they would all.
They would always fit.
Mhm.
It's not like that
They do fit.
for the
but
most
it's-
part. But I have a very narrow set hip, so if
Yeah.
somebody really has to fight to get in there, I'm like, let's just.
I've
Let's do
met girls like that where I'm like, I am not like your life must be a nightmare
Yeah.
sometimes, like because this is like,
Oh, it's like difficult? to
Dude,
fuck them?
yeah, and
Sometimes you have to like really fight, and then
But-
it's friction, and it makes you bleed.
Ugh.
It's like just
makes me
not-
feel cool. I'm like, I can't fit.
Yeah, but
I'm like, but I'm also just like, I should be able to get right in there, no issue. I don't know what's going on. I'm like, I'm sorry.
it's like everybody has a big dick.
You're like, you're so big.
I always, when that happens, even if they're totally average, I always tell guys that I'm like, oh God, you're just so big.
No way.
Yeah, and then
I
last
don't do
time I
that.
did that, they were like, "You say that to everybody." I was like, "Yeah, of course,
Yeah.
but it's all relative. Everybody's got a big dick compared to me." So
Yeah.
That dude's just walking home, headphones in, like, this.
So happy.
Just listening to God Bless America.
and I could give him that, and that's nice.
Yeah, that's a nice feeling.
I feel like I never say, I don't know, when it's like, oh my God, it's too much. It's like, because that's porny too, you know? Like,
Yeah, that is porn.
you know, it's like, so you're going to fucking ruin me. Guys, we have come to the final question
Uh-huh.
of this episode. And Ellory, I will let you have the floor. Can I approach girls in the gym?
No, I think no. I think it's just one of those places where, especially if she has her headphones in, like bad move, bad. And it's also like, I just think there's way more risk than reward in that space. I think maybe if you're walking into the gym or you're walking out of the gym, but if somebody's like in there working out, it's also like the number one place where creeps approach girls. So like, just don't lump yourself in with them. Like you don't want her to associate you with the type of guy that would do that. So I think pretty much everywhere else is go for it. Or in the parking lot. I think a parking lot is a good sort of neutral space.
Yeah, wait by our car.
Wait by your car. Yeah. Wait outside. But I just think like no, I think girls go to the gym to work out, and it's like a very specific type of guy that approaches. Like I had to stop going to a gym because the guy that there wouldn't stop coming up to me.
Oh, no.
I had to like cancel my membership.
Yeah, see, sometimes I'm like, I'm like a big old freak. Because sometimes, like, you'll see somebody that at the gym that's so hot, and you're like,
yeah,
I fucking.
Okay, but
and then I'm like,
but then you,
oh, let me just.
Then
do
you
my
have eye
squats.
contact, right? Like, I feel like if somebody is,
It's a thumbnail for this episode.
it's our most popular episode. I do feel like if somebody is like, sometimes there is like sexual chemistry, and you're making eye contact.
Yes.
So you can tell if a girl is not looking at you.
Oh, yeah.
If she's on her phone, if she has her headphones in, if she's like actively working out, that's a no. But if a girl is like flipping her hair by the water bottle station and like looking you in the eyes,
and you're grinning,
and you're grinning, and she's laughing, and she takes her headphones out and she looks at you, like those are all
indicators.
Yeah.
Yeah, one time I was working out I was on a treadmill. This is the only time I've been hit on at the gym, and I was livid. I was on a treadmill with headphones in, running, like actively running, beat red face. I get really sweaty when I work out. I'm like, some people look stunning when they work out. They're just like bone dry. And I'm like, how are you doing this? I look like John Candy. I am like
Trying to catch a train.
Yeah, I'm like, please. The train to Cincinnati. I gotta get on it. I look like I'm something bad is happening to me metabolically, and I am sweating profusely, red as hell. And this guy just goes like to my headphones, like take your headphones out, and I was like, oh, like something. Yeah, I'm like, did I bleed through my gym clothes? You know what I mean?
Is there a fire?
Yeah. So I'm like, he goes, so I take out my headphone. I'm like, hey, what's up? And he's like, how's it going? And I was like, excuse me? And he's like, how are you? And then I think he realized, oh shit, this was a bad idea. And I was like, I'm sorry, I don't understand. And he's like, okay. And I was like, and I just started writing it, and I was like, fuck, dude. I mean, he kind of felt ashamed, so I feel like it kind of worked. But yeah, I would say don't do it. I think Ellory is really on the money with this one. I mean, but it is, damn, sometimes though, you see a hot guy at the gym, and you're like, I wish they would look at me. And then you're like, this person probably thinks I'm a dish rag. And like, they only date women that are like professional yoga instructors. And they're like, listen, peasant lady. So
I do feel like there's something that's exciting about life in general is like the possibility of sex is like everywhere.
Oh, that's like at a grocery
Grocery store tension.
Whew, sexual energy.
I think about this all the time, and it's because it's like almost feral. It's like so biological to need to eat, and like it's so intimate. Like something I think about a lot is like going to a guy's house for the first time, like seeing what kind of groceries or like cleaning supplies are in his house. I'm like, this is who you are when nobody else is around.
Okay.
Yes. I also think about the food in their cart being like it's like you're gonna consume this and it's gonna come out of you.
You're gonna shit.
Yeah.
You're gonna eat toilet paper. And it's gonna be so crazy.
Yeah. Oh, celery. He's a healthy man.
I would have the most unattractive cart ever. It'd be like DiGiorno's rising crust.
Tostino's pizza rolls.
Goldfish. More goldfish. Gatorade.
You eat like you are on a little league team.
Yeah, no, I do. Just like orange slices. No, dude.
Welch's fruit snacks.
Dude.
Cups of water.
Yeah. Danimals. Capri Suns. Dude, yeah. Grocery store tension, so real. So real.
Airport terminal.
Yeah.
Oh my God. An airport terminal? I was like, okay.
Being like one of the only people your age on a plane, like when there's somebody like in your age group on a plane.
Oh my God.
That
Dude,
tension
when I
is-
flew last time I flew home from LA back to Boston, there was like two girls my age, like not like in my wheelhouse, like where I'm like, you guys aren't that hot. Like this is I could get this done by the end of the flight if I wanted to. Like if we had a full conversation and like
so funny.
and like you could feel it. Like I could like we kept making like awkward like back and forth with like
were they in your row?
I was sitting next to a girl. And like her other friend
And
was
you
there
said
too.
nothing?
Huh? I said nothing.
Missed opportunity.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I was also just like it's so, and it was a quiet flight, so it was like I didn't want to
you
like
can't. Yeah, that's
start
so
like
embarrassing.
talking, being
And
like
the whole flight hears.
Yo.
You can't.
I think you wait till the end.
Yeah.
So you go to UCLA? That's cool. What's your major? Yeah, I can't do it. I literally tried to wait to the end. I would never approach a girl at a gym and try to hit on her. Never in my life would I ever do that.
Liam wants on the record that he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Also, like, if you do that, you're a psycho. Like, there's no normal dudes that are doing that at
Well, I'm
the
like,
gym.
some people, I think, like, it lacks a sort of, like, social training.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where it's, like, some people genuinely might not know, but it's, like, that's one of those things that you sort of just have to remember.
Yeah, it does depend. Also, it's like, I don't know, man. Also, like, look at what you're doing, too. Like, it's just, like, some guys, I'm like, I've seen guys approach girls at the gym, and I'm like, sweetheart, look at yourself. And now look at the girl you're approaching. Does that make any sense?
Any sense at all?
Look at her. Now look at yourself. Okay, this is not, and you know, some people, hey, that's me. That's not nice. 'Cause, you know, the guys whatever. That's shallow. He's being shallow because he's only approaching her because she's in a fucking hot
Yeah.
like outfit, and he's only talking to her because he thinks she's hot. So fuck that shit. I had a very funny thing happen to me yesterday when I was leaving here.
What happened?
It just has reminded me of this. And it's so weird. It's so funny. I was driving. My car window is rolled down. I was at a stoplight. I was eating a Del Taco burrito. Let's be
Classic? Which
honest. Classic grilled chicken burrito.
Nice.
My go-to.
I'm an 8-layer, but okay.
Oh, 8-layer veggie.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a good one too. I like that one. I just like the simplicity of, 8 layers. That's
It's a lot.
Yeah,
It's a
God
lot.
didn't
It's an
intend.
It's an undertaking.
Yeah, Dante's nine levels of hell in burrito. I was eating my burrito while driving. This car next to me rolls down the window, 2 guys, and they're like, "Hey, what are you eating?" And I was like, "Oh," like embarrassed, obviously. And I was like, "Oh, a burrito." And they're like, "Looks really good." And it's like, "Thanks." And I'm like, "Oh, these guys are like hitting on me, whatever, trying to pick me up." And I'm just like, "Yeah, I'm kind of embarrassed. I just totally got caught eating like while driving." They're like, "Yeah, it's whatever." Anyway, but I don't remember how exactly this happened, but then they just say, "Well, it's like, I mean, you don't even have tits anyway." And I was like,
What?
And then they're like, you don't have tits any, like I couldn't hear them. I was like,
Were they
tit-
high schoolers?
they were like, and
Were
they're
they
probably
adults?
mid-20s.
Oh my God.
And I was like, tits? And they're like, tits. And I'm like, tits. And then they're like, and then his friend just like rolls up the window and they got like really scared. And then I was just like, and then funny, I have a Prius, so it's like a bucket seat, and I was wearing like a big jacket. So I was like, you can't tell. First
idea.
of all, one, you can't tell. But I was like, this is.
Well, it wasn't about that at all. Do you know
It
what I
was
mean?
so funny to me because I
so
wasn't
funny.
offended. Like I told my friend about it, and we were like, "Oh my God, did that hurt?" And I was like, "No, it was so hilarious." I was not offended, and I was like, "Are these guys riding around town just being mean to girls?" That is so funny,
It's
dude.
so funny.
I was like, "This is like trying to pick up girls and be like, you don't have tits." Like, I'm like, you could have said something so much meaner.
Yeah.
Like literally,
It's
like
sort of
you're
the middle of
ugly.
the road.
All
Yeah.
you have is the window up, like, nice collarbones, slut.
Yeah. And then they rolled up the window and were just scared, and then just like stayed back as I think like as much as possible. And I was like,
Okay.
it
Dude,
was
that's so
so fucking weird. Is that hilarious?
That's so funny.
It's sort of
Tits.
like it's unfortunately so funny.
I know. And I was like, are you trying to make me feel bad? Like, what was the?
It just reminds me of like being in high school and like guys driving around and like
They could have been
yelling
in-
at strangers out the
Yeah.
car.
It
It's
was
like
in
very
Westwood.
childish.
That was fun.
It wasn't
Yeah,
West.
it's fun.
So
it's
fun.
harmless.
It was in Westwood, so they could have been like Armenian dudes that were like 13.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
Just like looked.
Full beard.
Yeah.
They looked like they had children, like, but they could have, I mean, they definitely were like younger than me, but like, yeah, but not, I mean, they were driving a
That's
car and
so
they were not like teenagers.
Yeah.
They were like definitely virgins.
Yeah. Dude, that is the most fun thing to do as a guy in high school. It's like, let's go harass strangers from the comfort of my vehicle. Dude, this is one of the hardest I've ever laughed because I didn't know it was going to happen. My friend Shane was just driving. We're going through town, and there's like a really old couple walking, like super old, It's like sun setting. It's like a very nice evening. They have their dog out. And my friend Shane, without saying anything, just slowly creeps up to them and gets like right next to them on the sidewalk. And he goes, excuse me. They're like, the guy's like, hello. He's like, sir, do you fuck that dog?
Oh my God.
And the guy, like, it was like they got hit with a grenade. They were like, what? Like, and like the best part is like the wife almost looked at him like, have you been fucking the dog? Like, she looked at him and was mad instead of looking at it. I was losing my shit. And like, I was like, dude, we might have just fucked up their like
Marriage.
their marriage, like 2 weeks of their life. They're not going to talk. Like, are you fucking the dog? Like, I had suspicions. Like, I knew. It was,
Other people are seeing it, obviously, Mark. Okay? For fuck's sake, we're walking down the street and people are stopping you because of your male gaze at our fucking dog.
dude.
You told me you didn't even want a dog. But then when we got one, all of a sudden you're the one that walks it all the time.
Guy was probably like a Vietnam vet. He's like, I fucking should have died in the jungle. They should have left me back there.
Oh my God.
It was one of the meanest but funniest things I've ever seen in my entire life because he's so casual. Just the way he pulled over, he's like, excuse me.
I'm also like, it's only mean if there's any truth to it.
Yeah.
So figure that out amongst
Yeah,
yourselves.
yeah.
I also feel like that's the funny thing just about like adults in general. When you're younger, you're like, damn, adults are uptight.
Yeah.
And then when you become an adult, you're like, those people were uptight. Like they were like, if a kid did that to me, I'd be like, that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
obviously
I'd
these
laugh.
these guys that did that, like they probably like were like, oh, we're gonna hurt her feelings. And I'm like, you guys are so stupid. This is hilarious. Like, so I feel like, I don't know, like if they were actually appalled, like just the idea of somebody like clutching their pearls and being like, is like so funny to me. I'm like, who gives a shit? I don't know.
I feel like those guys half wanted you to be like, no, and then just flash
Show
your
them,
tits.
yeah.
All the thing.
I actually don't have small tits. See?
Oops. Show your ass tat.
That's so crazy.
Oopsie, whatever.
Well, I guess the consensus, it's pretty obvious. Can I approach girls at the gym? In general, no.
Don't.
But you can, maybe give some eye contact if you get it
Give
back.
some sexy, smoldering eye contact for
If
sure.
if you get it back and there's a come hither look, and you got to know the difference. But if there's a come hither look, then hey, how's it going?
I feel like if I am feeling vibes with a guy, like wherever, gym out, I'll like, and I have headphones in, I will take my headphones out and make eye contact with him. And then that's like a very clear sign.
You know what's fucked up? I sound like I'm so, I'm so open. I do whatever. I am terrified of looking men in the eyes. That I
Wait, what
don't
do you
know.
mean?
I have never spoken to a man unless he's spoken to me first in my life.
But
never hit on a guy.
What about, eye contact is like so,
Oh
like it's
my
not,
God.
it's
You're giving me anxiety right now.
By
Just even
looking
the
at
idea that I could
like,
look at a man.
So much sex happens with eye contact. You know what I mean? Like before any of the sex actually happens, before you're talking to a girl, when you're exchanging, especially at a party.
It
A
depends.
house party.
Yeah.
I'm so viscerally terrified of being considered creepy or just misjudging a situation.
You're not going to.
Yeah.
No, nobody's going to think
you're
that.
a stunner.
I
People will be so
can't.
excited to-
I've so many times I have been somewhere at a bar and an attractive man is looking at me that I'm attracted to, and I'm like,
You're like averting, you're looking at the ceiling.
Made of? This is micro suede, right? What is over here? Can't look over there. If I look over there, then there'll be a connection, and I'll be terrified to make one of those.
The best part of any relationship is like before you go out on the first date. It's like the best part of any relationship is possibility. So like building that tension, like that's such a fun.
It's hot,
Like, I'd
but-
rather like
I need like, if a guy comes up to me, the ice is broken, it's fine. But I even just like I could stare back. I've done it a few times, but I have to be like,
and then I'm like nervous. I'm like, oh God. Because then this is what I'm also afraid of. What if I make eye contact with him back and then we start talking and he sucks?
Yeah.
well
that's
then
tough.
you can be like, I'm gonna go get a glass of water. I'll see you around. Bye.
Yeah. And then they keep being like, hey, what's up?
Yeah,
And you're
I
like,
mean, fair
hey,
enough.
remember
Fair
me?
enough. It's,
Yeah.
you don't want to entertain anything that like
that if a lot of times, almost every time I've made a connection with a guy in public, he like actively has to come up to me and be like, hey. And then I can decide whether or not I'm into. And then that's what's nice, because then if I'm like not into it, it's like, well, you were the one that came up to me and I didn't insinuate anything. But if I'm like
hey. And then they come up and I'm like, wait, this guy sucks.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, fuck, now I have to like leave the bar. Now I have to go elsewhere because I
That's true.
fucked up.
I sort of love having just a crush in life. So I'm like, okay, this random person who I may or may not ever hook up with, but like, oh, they're at a party, I'm at a party, anything could happen. You know what I mean? It's sort of like the possibility of it all, being able to like exchange glances and be like, yeah, we might hang outside later.
Dude, that the party house party eye contact is the most like out of a movie thing that in real life, like when you're literally like across a party, like just looking, and like you see one girl like looking at you for a second, and you're like, yes, yes, thank God, like let's go.
Yeah.
Like,
There is a God.
And
then
you
you're
have
getting-
something to do for the whole party.
yeah, you're getting through the crowd. You're like,
Yeah.
hey, what's up, dude? And she's like, oh, hey. It's so fucking stupid.
Oh my God.
Sharing a little cigarette outside.
Yeah.
There's nothing better.
It's fun. I know. Well, I could do that. It has to be utilitarian. I could never go up to a guy ever. But the cigarette thing is like, I think
It's
that's
a
why I was a
reason to-
smoker for so long, because you go outside and you're like, that guy's so hot. I'm like, hey, do you have an extra cigarette? Yeah, I do. Do you know light?
Or a light.
How's
yeah.
it going? Good, cool. And then you were like, fuck yeah, I'm in, dude.
Not much for approaching guys. I only did it one time.
Only for a cigarette. That's
Only
the
for a cigarette.
only
I only did it one time, and I was at work, and I used to work at Trader Joe's growing up, and this guy came in every day, and it was in Boston. It was the one across from the Peru.
Oh, really?
Came in every day, talked to me, only came to my line. So after like 2 months, I'm like, all right, this is a shoo-in. First time ever, I'm gonna approach a guy, and so he's in my line, and I'm like, oh, like, would you want to like go out sometime?
Damn, Ellory.
And he was like, oh, I have a girlfriend, but he gave me a 15% off coupon for a Patagonia store because he worked at Patagonia at the time. So not bad, but I never did it again.
But it's funny, he definitely was attracted to you because
Yeah,
he kept going to
All
your
the
line.
time, talking to me, only coming to my
He
line.
fantasized
Yeah,
about
definitely.
you. He
But I
definitely
was
jerked
like-
off to you.
I was like, you fucking dickbag. Like, you let
know.
me ask you out like that?
Yo, I've had crazy shit happen where there was a time where I was like, am I putting out a weird vibe? It was after I went through a breakup, and this happened to me, I swear to you, I think it happened almost 4 times within the span of like 3 months, where I would I would meet a guy at a party who would fully approach me. I'll tell you one of the stories. This guy like fully approached me, asked to like introduce himself to my friends, asked to buy me a drink, bought some of my friends drinks, chatted with him like for hours. Okay. Then is like, okay, I'll walk you home. Walks me. I'm like, I'm going to, we're very least going to make out. Walks me to like my front door, comes inside. It's, by the way, like 3 a.m. This is in New York. It's like 3 a.m, comes inside. We have a beer. He's sitting next to me on a bed. And I don't make any first moves either. Like, again, the shy thing. And then I'm just like, when is he going to kiss me? Why is this taking so long? And then I think I said something, or I like insinuated, and he's like, oh, well, I have a girlfriend.
Whoa.
And I was like, excuse me? And I was
Whoa.
like, what is wrong with
What
you?
is wrong with you?
And he's like, well, this was the 3rd or 4th guy this had happened with, like in this 3 months span. I'm just telling this specific story, but it happened like multiple times.
I
We're like,
wonder what that
yo, I asked him because I was like, listen,
Is this at the end of all of that happened? This was like one of the last guys?
yes.
Okay.
And I was like, I gotta ask you because one, I'm fucking pissed. You just like hemorrhaged my time I'm a pawn in your confidence game. And what the fuck is this? Because this has actually happened to me multiple times. So can you explain to me what this is before you get the fuck out? Tell me what's going on.
He owes you that at least.
Yeah. And he's like, well, you're like a pretty cool girl. And I think, I'm just speaking for myself, but maybe this is the case with them too. The idea of knowing that I could get a girl like you gives me a lot of, and I'm like, so you truly used me for your own self-esteem boost. And he's like, yeah, I guess so. And I'm like, you're horrible.
Yeah, that's
Leave.
fucked.
Leave.
fucked.
It's like extreme edging. Like I have a girlfriend. I'm gonna get on this girl's
And
bed and then leave.
As
I was
so
his
close as
girlfriend,
I can.
I would be so
mad. I would be
pissed.
That's
so mad.
that's cheating, right? I mean, and not
It's worse than cheating in my mind.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you get blackout drunk.
And you're
have sex
buying
with some-
girls drinks. Like you're buying me like multiple, like he spent like
$50 on me at least.
It's like more Machiavellian than like accidental cheating, where it's like, oh, you got blackout drunk, you had sex with somebody, but like going to a bar knowingly and then like manipulating you and all of your friends by buying you stuff, and then going back to that girl's place just to be like, you know what, I'm kind of a good guy. I don't.
And not
I
even
don't
just
sleep
walking
around.
me home. Like I can even understand that. Like, oh, it's late. I'll walk you
Going
home.
upstairs,
Like-
having another drink,
Sitting on my bed.
sitting on the bed.
Crazy. I think women have done that too to guys.
I
I'm
was
sure.
gonna say, I feel like that's more of like a girl thing to do. 'Cause
Yeah.
like you're like, okay, I'm gonna like have this guy like.
I'm mad at my boyfriend,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna flirt with you, but then I'm gonna go home and get fucked by him.
Such a common.
I've seen people that I know, like people that my friends that are dating. I've seen like the girl do it. I'm like, this is
So
so
fucked up.
weird.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? And she's like, nothing. I'm just talking. I'm like, well, not really, dude.
lightly,
Like,
lightly flirting, I think is fine. And I do give that allowance to like a guy I'm dating, like not insinuating things, but if he's like out and a girl is like, hey, blah, blah, blah. It's actually rude
To,
if
like,
you're like, I
yeah.
have a girlfriend.
Yeah.
That's like fucking
Right,
so
but,
rude.
like-
I'm not gonna fuck you. What are you crazy?
Like,
I'm in a committed relationship. Damn.
don't even look at me.
Yeah.
But like lightly flirting, talking, whatever, small talk at a bar, fine.
Fine.
Going to walking a girl home, going upstairs,
Dude,
or even
that's-
I think something that girls do a lot is maybe like texting another guy every day, like oh, we're really, really, really good friends.
That's
It's
weird.
my work boyfriend. We're just like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but even like talking to a girl privately, like, because the first time it happened at that bar, this guy took me away from my friend. Like, it's like, you know, when you're out with friends and you're like, cool, like, I'm gonna talk to this guy. So we were like, him and I were like privately speaking for probably like 2 hours. And he's like, oh no, I have a girlfriend. And I'm like, I was out with friends.
Yeah.
What the fuck
Yeah.
is
You
this?
actually separated me away from my group,
Yeah, what the fuck?
and I'm out here trying to get laid, and you're not.
Yeah.
So what-
You're just trying to like use me to feel like you can, that you
So
still,
you
got
can
it.
get laid if
Yeah.
you really, really wanted to.
Yeah. Or like, yeah, I could cheat on my, at any point, it's like testing the bounds of like how attractive you are still. Like, it's like, do I still got it? I
Yeah.
still got it.
Why do you need to know that though? Like, it's like if you have a girlfriend, like,
Low self-esteem.
I guess.
Yeah.
but, like-
Also, I think for a lot of people, not just men, it's like an optionality problem where it's like, well, I have this girlfriend that I like, but there might be something better else out there.
true.
I guess so, but I don't even think this guy was,
Shopping around
no.
Yeah.
I think it was truly just to know
that he could.
that
if
he
wanted
could
to.
if he
Yeah.
wanted to. And I'm like, that's so fucking crazy. But I think flirting, I don't know, if you're in a relationship within reason, I think flirting's fine.
No, I totally agree.
Because it's fun. Like
Yeah.
if my boyfriend like wanted to like, if he was at a party, he's very handsome. And if he's at a party
You
and
seen
like,
him? He's good looking.
Oh
dude.
no, I haven't met
if
him.
he's at a party and like he gets approached, and if a girl's like flirting with him and he's just kind of like, yeah, playing back a little bit, he's not even flirtatious, but he's not rude.
Yeah.
But he's like playing back a little bit. It's like,
I feel
have
like that's
fun.
the
I don't
nature of a
know.
good
Yeah.
conversation. I feel like specifically comedians, because we're so performative, we love to riff, we love to have fun. Like sometimes you'll be talking to somebody who will interpret that as being flirtatious, and it's like, no, we're just having a really good conversation.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
I know. It's like, I'm just being interested. And
Exactly.
I would talk to a woman the same way.
the exact same way.
Or even somebody that I wasn't like, that I have no like sexual like chemistry with or whatever.
do you find that sometimes you have to dial it back because people will interpret it as sexual?
I think I'm pretty flirty just because I feel like, this sounds so douchey. So I'm like, I think I'm kind of charming.
you are so charming.
I'm charming. And so it's like, but then I think people think like, oh, she's trying to fuck me. I'm like, no, I'm like this. If you were here or not, I would
Yeah.
talk like this. So I don't know. But
This is gonna sound douchey, but what I love doing this. So like my best friends when their girlfriend's around, like I will
Make her laugh so hard.
like go
Yes.
ham, like go as hard
Yes.
as I can to where she's like snorting and like moving around, and I'll just look at him, and I'll just like when she's not looking, I'll be like,
yeah.
"You see that?"
Yeah.
well, you
But I can make her-
you cucked your friend.
Just laugh cuck them.
yeah, laugh cucking.
Comedy cucking my friends.
Yeah, no, that is kind of the move. I do feel like I'm in my like top sexual energy when I'm making like attractive men laugh.
Yeah.
I am like, wow, I'm fucking crushing.
Sometimes I feel like I date a lot. I go on a lot of dates, and I feel like it's mostly because first dates are such like tennis games, and like I feel like I can just knock it out of the park. So I can make this guy laugh so hard.
Oh, I'm good.
And he's so
I
shocked.
crush a first
Crush
date.
a first date.
Crush.
Yeah. And so I'm like,
I'm good at auditions.
It's addictive. Yes, exactly. Job interviews, it's like addictive. And then I'm at a point where I'm like, chill out. Like, you don't need to do 3 dates a week. You don't even want to see any of these people again.
Well, it's funny because I talked to my therapist about this, and I would do this thing where I would just fucking just crush on a first date and try to crush. Like, just be like, all right, man, you're going to get in there. You're going to I was like Mike Tyson talking to myself in the mirror being like, you're going to fucking slay it tonight. And the thing is, like, I was definitely using it as this, like, wanting to get love and affection and attention back. And not saying you're doing that.
That's definitely
yeah. Because then my therapist was like, why don't you give them, like, you know, if there's like I give them 10 out of 10 Nina. And then what happens is that, like, if I don't get, like, then if they're not like interested in seeing me again, I'm like devastated because I'm like, I was just the most charming, hilarious fucking bitch ever. What the fuck is wrong with you? And she's like, you don't even know these people. They don't even deserve all of you. That they should earn that. Why don't you give them like 4 or 5 and then see if they are able to earn that 10? And I'm like, because I feel like I exert so much energy, especially as a comedian, as a performer. You're like, oh, you want me to be like watchable and funny? Like, I got you. And then you're just like doing a show for hours.
Yeah, it's being like addicted to the audience of it.
Yeah.
And then for me, it's like I almost never want a second date with anybody. So it's sort of like the perfect like packaged experience where I just get to go in and like be fun and be really liked and well received and like look really pretty, and then I can just like disappear off into my life and like find the next person. I can do that too.
Yeah, you're a heart collector.
Yes.
I was a heart collector for a really long time, and I learned that why I did that, and it like was really shocking.
Do you have a lot of childhood stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, like I just thought like, oh, it's fun. Like I would just truly like, dude, Diana the Huntress. Like I was just all like, oh, anytime. It was kind of fucked up with guys too that I would date where I was like, once they fell in love with me, I was like, all right, gotcha.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was like, great, you already fucking love me.
It's like having a scope on people. It's like it's really sick. It's like, especially with dating apps, it's so easy where it's like, I will do 4 or 5 dates in a week.
Damn. And see, I can't. What's that time?
I give everybody an hour. I'm like, I'm not fucking doing anything anyway. Stand-up has been dead. Like, I'm doing some shows here and there, but I'm not doing it 2 or 3 times a night like I was. So I'll do a date for an hour. And I think it's, like, not worth it because I meet so many of the same types of people.
And it's boring. Like, I feel
so
like
boring.
if I have a repetitious conversation, because it's usually like, so where'd you grow
up? You see the same things over and over and over again. And then you'll forget who you tell what to.
You listen to, that's the one you forget that you tell who you tell what to. And then the repetitious story. It's like in that movie, I Heart Huckabees, where like he finds out how many times he's told the Shania Twain tuna fish sandwich story. And then they like record it and play it back. And he like is like, I'm a horrible person. Like you just hear how many times like the stock fucking stories that you have. And you're like, this isn't even fun anymore.
No, it's not fun. That's the thing.
And it makes you hate
not
yourself.
fun. Yeah, it's
Dude,
not fun.
I do the same thing with like the first date out of 10. But then like this happened where I was like dating this girl for like a little bit and she was like, what's wrong with you lately? I'm like, I am at like I'm chilling out. Like,
you're
I'm
like
not,
who you are
on,
now.
yeah.
I'm not doing bits. Like I'm just sitting there. I'm like, she's like, yeah, it used to be like, and then I do something like super funny. She'd be like, there he is. And I'd be like, oh, fuck.
Yeah,
like,
it's an inaccurate representation of the comprehensive person that you are.
Yeah,
and I think that's what you have to like enter. And it's easier said than done because I think that, you know, you want to be charming. You want to ace the test sort of thing. And you want to get a call back, you know?
Yeah.
And it's, you know, you're putting it all out there, but also like just being like your temperate self. If they don't like you and you're just like, average in you, and there's not all these fucking bells and whistles going on, then, you know, it's probably not going to work out in the long run. And I think that's also really hard. Do you have a type, Ellory?
I do kind of have a type, but I have like expanded it a little bit. But it really kind of like goes counterintuitive to sort of the actual things that I like in my life. But I like a really traditionally masculine man. Like I like and similarly with women, I like a really hot woman. Yeah, I like sort of like a jock type, but I don't date comedians, but it's really the only kind of person I don't date. I will bring people to stand-up shows, like, because I run a show, and so we're dating for 5 months, you're going to come. But, like, if we're a few months in, I'm sort of like, I I don't know. I feel like my stand-up version of myself is not fully me. And maybe you're more
Interesting.
connected. Because the type of comedy I do is not really the type of comedy I wish I was doing. Like, I feel like I have a lot of space between where I really want to be, like, a little bit more playful. I really want to, like, be sillier. So the type of stand-up I do, like, I'll crush and do good, but I don't want to, like, go home to somebody who I'm, like, newly seeing and have to be like, yeah, that's me. You know what I mean?
Interesting. Yeah, I feel like sometimes I want a guy to come, so I'm just like, look what I can do.
Yeah.
And I want to bring them to a show that I do really well, that I know I'm gonna do well at. So then I'm like, oh, like it's truly just it's definitely back into that, like, give them a 10 on the first date, because it's like, I want you to fall in love with me and then me decide whether or not you're even worth my time, which is
There is something to that.
It's fucked up. I know I know that I'm fucked up. I'm a comedian.
Person, yeah. Bringing somebody and then people, all these people approaching you afterwards to be like, hey, that was really funny. Hey, good set. There's something like, you know.
Yeah. And then I want to get my back blown out after.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's hot. It's hot.
I mean, I'm so far from being a professional comedian, but I don't even tell girls I'm into comedy. Like
you should. That they would. I don't know, girls.
It depends. I do think that girls like that more.
Girls like that more.
I don't do it with men because men are always like, oh, I think I've thought about trying stand up.
Every motherfucker has been like, oh, you do stand. First of all, I DJ also for a living, and then what they'll do is like,
great DJ about it.
If I'm like, if I tell them I DJ or I do stand up, guess what? They've done both.
Yeah, exactly.
So many times.
Or like, I've always thought about giving it a try. And I'm like, okay, you going to an open mic and me spending the last 9 years of my life, like leaving the East Coast, missing everybody's birthday. It's not the same.
No.
Like, it's cute that you want to try it out, but like acknowledge that, like, okay,
our lives are different.
Our lives are different.
I think it's so, dude, or it's always just, they're above it. Like, oh, the only thing that's held me back from being fucking Dave Chappelle is that I just haven't tried it, you know?
But if I got up there, I could.
Yeah, I could knock it out of the park.
You should encourage them to go.
And then
like,
watch them
mic.
bomb.
Yeah, watch them just eat their own shit on stage. Yeah.
So many guys would kill themselves.
Oh my God, truly. I mean, there's so many times where like I've been DJing and I've got hit on by a guy who's like, oh, you're a DJ. Yeah, I used to be a DJ. And I'm like,
shut up.
Why are you one up? Because what they're saying is like, it's cute that you still do this.
It.
I used to do it, but now I'm a full adult. I'm a lawyer now. So
next time you should be like, oh, you couldn't hack it?
Yeah, I
was
just
a little
like,
too tough for you. You had to quit.
I feel like the next time a guy tells me he used to be a fucking comedian or used to be a DJ, I'm like, did you used to menstruate too? Get the fuck out of here. I'm so done with this. Like, it's like, no, because stand up and DJing are two things every single person thinks that they can do.
Yeah.
I've been at a party and been like, hey, and I've been at a party and told the DJ to play Hey Ya by Outkast, and he did, and everyone went off. So I'm pretty sure I would be good at it.
I think that that's the same thing. They're like, I've made a playlist before, and you're like, babe, not the same.
Have you read a room actively for 4 hours straight and made like 100 people dance at once? Shut the fuck up, then.
Hundreds of naked men on the beach on an island. I saw that. I was like, what is happening?
Did you DJ at a nude beach?
Yeah, I did. It was, I DJ'd at a gay orgy in Puerto Escondido,
really?
Mexico.
That is so fucking sick.
Yeah, it was tight.
I wasn't there, but
what
it
was
looked Let me just get that clear.
What was the music vibe? Like, what are the genres?
Played just mostly disco.
Fair.
Mostly, it was all gay men.
Yeah.
And they were all naked and they were
A
all
lot of, like Donna Summer.
about to fuck. Yeah, it was like Giorgio Moroder and like some just like more deep cuts and stuff like that. Kind of like
disco.
Yeah, Italo disco stuff and a little bit like I don't know what this is, but it sounds cool and sexy.
Nice.
You know, like that kind of vibe. So yeah, it was pretty tight.
Yeah.
It was tight.
That looked like heaven on earth for a gay man. It was just like naked. I was like, where
You're
is?
so into it.
I was like,
You're
dude.
so
Well, I was
plugged in.
thinking about it. I was like, I wonder if like what the vibes on this beach were when like it was super like illegal to be gay and stuff. Like in the 70s, like what was that beach looking like? Just like a gay paradise.
Oh my God,
Fascinating,
truly.
dude. Like I want a documentary about that. I was like, dude, everyone's just
Also,
walking
if
around
you want to
naked.
feel beautiful, you should go to a gay club or a gay beach and you will get hit on so much.
Or I won't, and that's gonna be the last.
But
day.
then you're going to be like one of those guys that I say who you're going to be like, actually, I'm straight. And be like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, that's what I'll be doing. I'm sitting on a guy's bed. I'm like, I gotta go. He's like, what the fuck, dude? This was nice. It was nice to meet you. Thanks for giving me all those sports facts.
I just needed a confidence boost.
Yeah.
See ya.
Yeah.
Well, guys, think we're going to bring it to a close. I really hope that you were able to glean onto all this information that we gave you. This is wonderful advice. Ellory is a verified hot girl, so you should
She dates a lot and is a verified hot girl, so you should listen to the things that she's saying. And I am a verified hoe, so I have had a lot of experience.
You're a verified hot hoe.
Yeah, you are.
Oh,
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us, Ellory.
Yeah,
Thank you for having
Thank
me.
you.
This is so much fun.
Where can they find you?
Yeah, you can find me at Ellory_Smith on Instagram.
And thank you for listening. Goodbye.
Bye.
Later.
Oh.